Hi class, my name is Shay Christensen, and this is my presentation on the theories of stress and coping. This model is similar to the one that's in our textbook. It just shows that the stressor is a demand that we think is harmful to us. The primary appraisal is the question of, am I in trouble, and how severe is the stressor? Secondary appraisal is when you determine how much control you have over the stressor. The coping can be problem-focused coping or emotional-focused coping. And then you move to the reappraisal construct where you evaluate if you've gotten rid of the effects of the stressor. So now I'm going to tell you the story of Maggie the Moose. So here's Maggie the Moose. Maggie is a 22-year-old college student at UAA working full-time. One day, after coming home from work, Maggie came to her parents' house to find out some terrible news. Maggie's dad told her that her mother had been shot by hunters earlier that day. Maggie's in terrible distress and cannot seem to keep her stress levels down after the tragic event. Maggie's mother dying is a major life event stressor. Maggie's father explains to her how important it is to keep herself healthy, and the only way for her to successfully do that is to keep her stress levels down. Maggie starts to evaluate herself and asks herself, am I okay? Does this terrible event have me in trouble? She realizes that she can no longer focus in her classes and decided that she needs to focus on coping with all the stress. Maggie then moves to the secondary appraisal construct and realizes that she does have control of herself but may need to consider some techniques to help her get through. She decides to write down all her thoughts and feelings in a diary and consults a counselor to talk about the issues going on. Maggie then moves to the coping phase, where she attempts to look at the horrific event from a different perspective. She starts to alter the way that she thinks about the murdering of her mother. Rather than thinking of it as a murder, she starts to appreciate the life that her mother had and becomes more thankful for the time that she had with her, rather than being mad at the hunter who killed her. Maggie starts doing yoga so she has more time to relax throughout her day and meditates every morning before beginning her day. After a couple of months of doing yoga, meeting with her counselor, and writing in her journal, Maggie has reached the reappraisal construct, where she evaluates how she feels and decides that her stress has gone away, and all the coping mechanisms that took place worked for her. Maggie ended up getting a PhD in public health and volunteers helping kids who have been through traumatic experiences. The end.